Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the New Mexico Lobos Dynasty. I'm super excited to bring this one to you guys. I've been looking forward to playing Dynasty. This is actually the first time I'm even opening up a Dynasty file on the new game. I did the whole big reveal, so you already know we're choosing New Mexico Lobos. We're going head coach, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new head coach. And I was thinking about which coaching tree to go down the entire time before I got the game, and we're going to go down that recruiting style coaching tree. New Mexico does not have the greatest talent right now. That's one of the reasons why I chose them. So I was looking forward to building up this program kind of in a hotbed of talent. You can see that they are uh, near California, not too far from Texas. So there's some talent in the area. And as for the name of our head coach, we are going to go uh, with one of the names off of. I have actually a list of names that I came up with, but we are going to go here with Vic Torreus, head coach Vic Torreus. Probably something he's not going to be very often in his first year. And I'm going to go ahead and change the defense. I'll keep New Mexico's playbook. I'm going to change the defense to a 4-3. I just like having four down linemen. It's easier to prevent against the run there. As for alma mater, we're going to stick with his alma mater being the New Mexico Lobos. I like that sort of storyline of having your head coach uh, be from the university. As for pipeline, this was something that I was really debating over because we could have a pipeline of California. Obviously, it's not like too far. You would still have to hop over Arizona to get it, but there's a lot of talent in California. We could have done a pipeline in the state of New Mexico itself. You see, I was thinking, oh, I could do the pipeline as New Mexico, but we're going to have that sort of like proximity to home advantage. So I decided to go with a pipeline in Southwest Texas. That way we would be able to maybe steal some recruits away from some of the teams like UTEP and other schools in the area. And there were a bunch of coaching faces as well, a lot of variety in the game. I chose this face right here just because I wanted to. Looked like his name would be Vic Torreus. So uh, this is our guy. He's going to be, you know, pretty tall, relatively big, but looks like a former player. That sort of player's coach mentality. Um, and obviously, I'm going to stick with the short sleeves. It's hot in New Mexico. Can't afford to look goofy in a long sleeve. Now, we're looking at the program tradition here, and you can see it is a lot of losing seasons, and hopefully, head coach Vic Torreus is going to take over the program and is really going to change the whole vibe in Albuquerque around this program. New Mexico will be built up, and there will be no stopping the Lobos. So saving that, and then the first thing that I'm going to get into is I'm going to get into some of the recruiting. Now, as we are looking at the recruiting board, the first thing that I was learning how to do was actually just navigate the menus. Again, first time I've been in Dynasty mode here. And a lot of the players that are interested in our school are not very good. They're 1-star players, 2-star players. So I was looking at what I could do, and the first thing I decided to do was look at players who are from New Mexico. Obviously that proximity to home, there's not a lot that can really match that in terms of proximity to home in New Mexico. Other one being New Mexico State. Couple players locking us out already due to some deal breakers. But I was looking at it, and we have a right outside linebacker who we are on his board, and he is interested in us. And then this 3-star free safety as well, who appeared to be interested in us as well. So taking a look at some of our team needs, uh, you know, there's a lot of needs there. We need some quarterbacks, halfbacks, fullback. We need anything really. It's rough out here in these streets. So and then obviously I'm a big fan of offensive line play, former offensive lineman myself. So I wanted to build up the trenches as well. But looking around, there was not a lot to like on this team. Uh, so there was definitely a lot of needs, but exited out of the menu by accident there. So 2 players on the board, that's not going to be enough. Uh, One thing we need to do is up our quarterback depth. We have Devin Dampierre, but if he goes down, if he gets injured, we are screwed. So I was looking around, and the first ones that I found, I figured I'd have to go to like 3-star prospects in order to even stand a chance. I'm not going to get a 4-star, I'm not going to get a 5-star. And Rico Vieira, this athlete from California, he sounded interesting, so I added him to my board, and then continued looking around, and then found Braden Irving, a Texas quarterback who has open recruitment. We have a pipeline in Texas. It's where we can recruit from. And then looking here, we found Scotty Weathersby, this halfback that I was deciding to look at as well, and decided to open it up to any state for wide receivers if there's any interest whatsoever. And I was finding a whole bunch of nothing. These players that want to come to New Mexico just aren't good. They are flat out not good. So I was looking around and eventually decided to go back to that recruiting board and start scouting some players. So start looking at Josh Hunt, and then seeing how these players progress. Now, Hunt, not great. I didn't scout him fully because I'm starting to run low on hours. If I'm going to go through and scout everyone, it's going to take so many of my hours. So I decided to put a premium on some of these positions, like Rico Vieira, scouting him, looking at what he does. And I'm seeing what looks to be some pretty good stats. Some, throw power somewhere in the 90s. He's quick. And then same with Irving. Seems to be a pretty good prospect. You can see he has a mental ability, which is going to help us. That field general mental ability. And then continuing to look around, just doing some initial scouting. And this player is a JUCO, but he should be able to help us as well. But just, doing some preliminary scouting. I'm not entirely sold on any of these players necessarily. I'm always open to looking and restructuring this recruiting board, but I like the idea of some of these players coming to our team. And then, like I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of offensive line play. we don't want our quarterbacks to get killed out there. So we were looking, and it says we need some guards. So what am I going to do? Going to go out and find some guards. Now, this is where I'm deciding to get a little bit overzealous, maybe. Seeing some 4-star guards that are catching my eye a little bit. Saw me pause there on Alex Yates, maybe a bit too long. But there are some guards that do not have a deal breaker on us. James Sendejo does not have a deal breaker on us. Decided to pass on him, though, and decided to go for Jimmy Shepley instead. His deal breaker was playing time. We can absolutely provide that. He's going to be an instant starter on our team. And then Alex Yates as well. Going to be pretty easy starters on our team. Now, decided to offer some scholarships as well, just to really get into the recruiting period for them. Need to do that early on. Otherwise, we might fall behind. So offering some scholarships to players that I would really want to bring in. And you see me, I'm going to... Looking at Scotty Weathersby, I might put my points elsewhere. Braden Irving, offer him a scholarship. And then I'm curious on some of these players as well. And I still have a fair amount of recruiting hours. Who am I gonna continue offering scholarships, or am I gonna recruit people more? For Rico Vieira, gonna offer him a scholarship as well. Lloyd, I'm gonna offer him a scholarship. Josh Hunt, gonna offer him a scholarship. These are some players that we want to bring in, right? In these first couple recruiting classes, the players that are going to come to our program and make an instant impact are aplenty. We need to just be able to bring in talent. Now, we found out that Jimmy Shepley is a bust. It's unfortunate, but being a 4-star bust, that means he's around a 3-star talent. So what my hope is that other teams that are looking at him will decide to not go after him, and that we'll get him, and we'll get the equivalent of a 3-star player there. And just finishing up some more of the recruiting here. But all told, not a terrible recruiting class. In terms of custom schedules, this is the schedule of the Mexico Lobos, so we're just going to stick with that. If it goes too well, we'll have to readjust. But right now, I'm playing on varsity difficulty. If I find that the first game goes a little too easy, I will adjust that as well. I'll look at our coaching tree, and what I didn't realize is I had 5 coaching points that I could have spent and made it a little bit easier on myself. So I decided to take some of my points and make it so that offensive line takes less time to scout. But that's one of the mistakes. There's going to be a couple mistakes that you'll see that I make early on. I'm just getting used to it, and you'll have to get used to it too. So that will do it for the first episode. Hope you enjoy.